But I looked at the problem of a police officer going on social media and telling people to leave their keys at the door. So that's kind of where the idea for Canada First came from, because I saw this police officer say, leave your keys at the door. And then I see in the comments, like, a bunch of really frustrated people, a bunch of people making comments about shooting people and like, break into my house, I'll shoot you. And, you know, and it's like, I wouldn't blame you for shooting somebody, but like, I hope you have the money for the lawyer.
That's right.
Because that's what's wrong with this country.
Yeah. And boom, we are live. What's up, everybody? Couple Casuals Podcast. I am your host, Stefano. And guys, we have a very special episode for you guys today. My guest today is the owner and founder of Yesa and Canada First. And guys, he is an extremely passionate entrepreneur. And today's conversation, we are going to be discussing politics, crime, and why you should fortify your home. And guys, today's episode is brought to you by Canada First.
Nice.
Secure your home with Canada's best home fortification. Visit them at canadafirst.com to learn more. So with that being said, I want to welcome Corrie to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, man. We are in your home, your headquarters here at Canada First. We were just talking a little bit before pod about this place. It's absolutely amazing. And I was here once before to hear Pierre talk. That was pretty amazing. Packed out house. So it's good to be back.
We had 6,500 people for that.
That is unbelievable.
And we had, I think, less than 72 hours. So
how did that come about?
I mean, we've been trying to we'd work with any party that would take our suggestions, to be frank, you know? So, what I thought would be bipartisan issues, which is reducing crime and protecting Canadian families.
Right.
Unfortunately, the only politicians that got back to us, not unfortunately, but the situation is the only politicians that got back to us was the Conservative Party.
Love it.
So we started working with the Conservative Party before the election. Because this business didn't really exist. Like, this business existed before the election, but it wasn't nearly as big.
And as needed, right?
Yeah. So we started working with some of the local MPs. We like to be involved in the community. We're in the Chamber of Commerce. So, sorry, question?
Ron Schinzer?
Yeah, Ron Schinzer, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So,
I had him on the podcast as well.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
The guy's a superstar. He's, ex-law enforcement. Like, he's literally served his communities. He's a good business guy.
Yeah.
He's just, like, salt of the earth good dude.
I love it, man. Yeah, that's sort of what I want to talk a little bit about crime and politics today. I want to get your perspective on it. But I just wanted to start with just a thank you, man, because I've been working with Canada First for quite some time now, since August. And what you guys bring to the table with home fortification and Canadian safety is very important, like you were just kind of touching on. It's a topic that needs to be covered, and I've been using this microphone to sort of amplify that message. It resonates a lot with us here on the podcast. We talk about crime, we talk about safety. So when I saw Canada First and I saw what you guys bring to the table and the value and the quality, I was like, I got to make this happen sometime. So
yeah, the quality thing's interesting. We should talk about that. If, shameless plug, we can talk about the business. But I grew up in a, blue collar. My dad was blue collar.
Yeah.
So good business guy who started in automotive. Then he was like a jack of all trades, more like master of all trades. Then he got into working with computers. He worked at IBM as a systems engineer for like 8 or 9 years. Then we opened a restaurant as a family. So because we're European, right? So Macedonians, Greeks, they all open restaurants.
And they do a great job at it.
Yeah. And my family has a history of many restaurants in the Mississauga area. So then they opened a restaurant, which we built.
Okay.
Like they started with an empty like building and like built it. And my dad was just like every little detail, like attention to detail. That. He was so critical of contractors. So he was also like trained in all that stuff, and drywall and tile and like electrical. The guy knows how to do everything. So when I started this business, part of the differentiating factor that I wanted to do is all of the technicians would have to pass the Larry test. That's my dad's name.
Oh,
like my dad would have,
great.
anytime somebody came by, he would just be, like he would not let anyone work on his house if he thought he could do a better job. So I'm like, great, then you're going to be our test for the standard that we need to bring our technicians to. Like, he would criticize everything. The guys they would pull up how clean are their trucks. How clean are the clothes they're wearing? Do they smell like BO? Do they have a friggin' plumber's butt? Like, all the criticisms that you could have as like of a contractor, my dad, he was just super critical. So I'm like, great, then he's going to be the test of how we build this business.
So what's his thoughts on where you guys are and how you've built it so far? Does it pass the Larry test?
The boomer and the old small business mentality is like, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Well, that's not actually true. That mentality is true for small business owners. It's why small business owners stay small.
Fair.
right? Because this microphone, it's working fine, right? It wasn't built by the guy who had the idea for the microphone. He's got someone else building it. This whole planet is ultimately run, and the guys who are winning, by people who know how to train other people how to do things. So he's like, where are you going to find good technicians these days? Like, your generation doesn't know how to work with their hands. I'm like, we're going to teach them.
That's a good,
right?
Because he's got a fair point.
No,
though,
he's right.
Yeah, but
we can teach. Yeah. We know the technology of how to teach. So we run a sales academy, run a business academy up front. We're like, we'll take all the principles of how we made that business successful, and we'll just do it with technicians.
I love that. I want to stay on that. That's kind of where I wanted to start. So I see like some of your influence obviously came from your father.
Yeah.
I want to talk about entrepreneurship because I think there's a lot of value here, especially what you bring to the table. Take everybody through like where you kind of grew up, your upbringing, and what sort of led you to entrepreneurship. You sort of touched on it a little bit, but maybe if you can expand a little bit more on how it sort of led to this entrepreneurship journey that you're on now.
Yeah, so I grew up in Cambridge, Ontario.
Cool.
You know, dad was in multiple different businesses. Mom was in sales, so I got the sales side from her.
Oh, both parents.
Yeah, she was just in the sales for IBM for like 30 years.
All right.
Like, she's just stick and stay, super disciplined woman, like tons of tenure with her company. So that's kind of where it started, but it was probably my parents opening the restaurant and like building that whole thing. And I'm 14, and I'm like, I want to be a short order cook. Like, I want to run the kitchen with my dad. And then it's basically I get passed the mop and bucket, and he's like, great, you want to learn how to run a restaurant, learn how to clean one. So I started as a janitor, and my dad's hardcore OCD, so he'd make me clean the whole restaurant. You know, show me, he's like, this is what you use to clean carpet, this is what you use to clean tile, this is what you use to clean linoleum, like all the different surfaces. And he would come in and spot check. So I would like clean the bathrooms, and he had like stainless steel beside the urinals, and I would clean the whole thing. Place is perfect. He'd come in, he's like, there's streaks on the stainless steel. He's like, what'd you use to clean that? I'm like, I used the disinfectant and the degreaser. He's like, you got to finish it off with Windex to get rid of the final streaks. I'm like, all right. And then he comes and looks at the toilet. He's like, see that area at the back of the toilet? See all that dust and grime at the back of the toilet? Why is that still there?
Oh, wow. Very
So he just like, dude, I'm 14.
Yeah.
You know? And so it didn't take long before I started getting the attention to detail, you know? Went busboy, dishwasher. Like, dude, I would shut down the dish station for the night, like, you know, the dishwasher and like where everything goes. And my dad would come in, he's like, don't leave suds and food residue in the sink. He'd like rinse it all out, scrape it, make sure it's perfect. Like, guy would just, but it's great training for a 14, 15-year-old kid.
How did that contribute to who you are now, though?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Right?
My wife probably hates it, you know.
You got a clean house, it's fair to say.
I have a clean house. I'm not naturally clean, though, but it bugs me to not be clean. So, fair. Like, you know, fair. I'm kind of strickler on that. But that was 14, 15.
Yeah.
When I was 15, then I started cooking. So then you're dealing with the pressure of actually cooking. And my dad's restaurant was a Montreal-style deli, but full sit-down service.
Love it.
You know, we did like steaks, burgers, you know, sandwiches, like everything, like a normal restaurant.
Yeah.
But everything was quality. This is back in 2004, before like organic was a thing and homemade was a thing. And that's just how it was. Everything was about quality. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd put a plate up in the window, like, all right, like, you know, shit number 7 or whatever. And like pick up, you know, for the servers to come. He'd look at the plate. He's like, yo, there's grease on the lip of that plate. Like, wipe that off. Like, make sure it's perfect. So did that. And then they made me serve on the weekends.
Okay.
When I was 14 and 15, because they didn't have a server on the weekends. It was a Monday to Friday restaurant for all the, you know, kind of workers in the area. And they made me serve tables at 14, 15. You know, I'm like 5'0" serving tables. And then I started talking to people, you know. And my dad also made me knock doors, because he bought me a little motorcycle when I was 11, 1970 Honda, like rust bucket, piece of junk, needs a motor rebuild. And he's like, all right, I bought you the bike. I'm not paying to fix it, and I'm not fixing it. So I'm like, all right. He's like, and your allowance ain't going to cover it. So go knock some doors, like go do errands for the neighbors. Go cut grass, do what you need to do. So I started knocking doors when I was 11 years old.
Oh, that's interesting. So that was like your first form of, I guess, making money, like on an entrepreneur kind of way. Yeah,
and that's where the sales started. So, and I'm fast forward to today, we've got 250 staff, you know, across Canada and the U.S. We sell for major telecom providers, and then we also sell, you know, Canada first.
Yep.
I worked for Grant Cardone, who's a business and sales trainer. Right. I ran his company in Canada for 6.5 years. I was the president for Cardone Canada. So I started in sales at 11.
That's amazing.
And then got good at it and got competitive. I did competitive door knocking when I was 18 years old. Like there's door-to-door sales leagues in Canada and the United States where like the best of the best compete with each other.
Okay.
Dude, you get dropped off at 9 a.m. with like a neighborhood. Like, here's your houses. These are the 2 streets that you can knock. You're not allowed to leave these 2 streets because 4 streets over is another guy, and those are his streets, right? So these are your 2 streets full of, let's say, 300 homes.
Right.
You start at 9 a.m. You get picked up at 9 p.m. You know, a couple hundred people compete.
Whoever has the most success.
And whoever's got the most success for the day wins extra money for the day. And then whoever's got the most success for the week, and there's weekly and monthly competitions. And I was a top 3 national champ for the entire 2012 season. I worked at that company. So,
dude, that's awesome.
It was crazy, though.
I'm thinking about it like this because I look at our younger generation, which I'll ask you about in a second here. But do you think like something like this requires a personality, or can it be taught? Is it something innate, that shark in you?
I think everybody starts at different places. I think there's some personality types that are obviously, you know, they got more of an inclination to do well.
Right.
But man, we teach everybody here. We got like shy, introverted kids who start.
That must be amazing.
Dude, our top guys don't talk a lot. We got these 2 twins. Their names Hassan and Hussein. They've been working with us on and off since 2019, but really consistently since 2022. And they're our best guys. Between the 2 of them, they probably bring home like $250,000 each. Like, these are really good sales guys. Okay,
it's amazing.
Take care of their family. They got like 12 brothers and sisters. Okay, these guys, they're quiet. They're like on route when they're talking to customers. They're great.
They can turn it on.
Super like personable, but they turn it on. But they've trained themselves to do that. And that's what we do here. Like, you can drill all that. We just broke sales down into kind of like a sport, right? Like, if you're learning basketball, you don't just start scrimmaging right away. You dribble, you learn chest pass, you know, you learn, you know, basic layup, you know, you learn free throw, you learn all that, and then you tie it all together. In sales, if you break it down the same way, you break down the greeting, you break down the handshake, you break down how to agree with somebody when they say something. You break down how to handle an objection one at a time, and you practice it and practice it and practice it. Eventually, you know, you can tie it all together, and you can teach somebody how to be a salesperson.
I like that approach. Did you play sports growing up, and did that sort of intertwine in a way?
I played soccer for like 8 years, but I don't think I was any good. So I don't think it came from that. It came from, I went and worked at this door-to-door company, and the guy who ran it was like a karate champion.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, sales is a sport. It's the ultimate sport. Yes, and he was just getting us to work for him.
He planted the seed kind of thing, eh?
Yeah. So then I'm like, great, well, why don't we run our business like a sport too?
I love that.
Because if you treat it like a sport, you can do really well. But if you treat it like I'm going to show up, I'm going to work my 9 to 5, and I'm going to leave, you're not going to do well. Unless you have the natural ability that's already there. But if you know, after work, practice, you know, you maybe record your calls, record your sales interactions, find out where you keep getting hung up, study the theory from like the best guys as to how they handle those situations, and then practice, because you can't get good at basketball just by watching basketball.
That's right. Yeah.
But you would watch the best guys, you would talk to them, find out what their approach is, what's their strategy, but then you got to practice it.
That's true.
So then you got to like spend some time at night practicing. Okay, you tell me you're not interested. All right, I'm not interested. Okay, man, and I expected you not to be interested. I totally get that, and you shouldn't be, because I haven't given you the information you would need to be interested.
Yes.
Okay, you need to like practice that over and over and over again. All right? Then you practice the next one. I need to talk to my wife. And sir, you should talk to your wife. Now let me ask you a question. Would your wife object to the price, the company, or the service itself? You practice each one of these things until you can naturally handle them. That's where the money comes in sales, is like you spend the first 2-3 years of your career doing probably 30 to 40% practice. You're working 80 hours a week in the beginning.
Yes, I would imagine.
But once you get good, all that stuff's drilled in. You're still going to keep drilling and practicing, you know, as a player, but now it's maintenance. It's kind of like working out.
Yep,
you have to invest a lot of time to get jacked. But once you are shredded and jacked, maintaining is a little easier than building, right? So that's how we run it up there, and that's kind of how I run my career. I just studied a lot.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
That's where the work rate, it pays dividends after.
So this is Val. She's quite pretty. I'm gonna throw a brick at her face, and she's standing behind a glass door that's been fortified by Canada First. You can see Her face is very much still intact. So now I'm gonna bring in the CEO of Canada First. He's gonna stand behind the glass that's already been damaged. He's gonna risk his pretty face. Let's see what happens. And I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it.
Still here. Still here.
That's just incredible. Like,
Yeah, but the comments are going to say, why didn't you kick it?
you're not breaking it. Like, this is incredible.
When you look at the youth, what is your assessment of the youth? Because obviously social media has changed these young people coming up. Do you look at them and like either maybe like, just to say bluntly, a little bit too soft, or is there, just depending on who you're talking about, or do they have the potential? What are your thoughts?
I think we're in a civilizational decline.
Okay.
I think, right? Like not all societies move forward, right? Like just because time's moving forward doesn't mean society is. So you think about that, right? Because if it was true, then no civilization in the past ever would have failed, right? So whether it's the Greeks or the Romans or any civilization that has fallen before, if all new ideas were better than past ideas, if time was the thing that moved society forward and advanced society on its own, then all civilizations would just continue to get better and better and better, right? But the Romans got decadent, they got indulgent, they got addicted to leisure and pleasure, right? And they became promiscuous, and they lost their literacy, and they lost the ability to pass down their technology to the next generation. And we're seeing the beginnings of that now. That's going on. Right? Like I'm getting less and less comfortable flying commercial, right? Because what does it take to run an airline? Think about what does it take to build an airplane? You know, so when you have a civilization that's literacy, I need to drink some water, okay? My mouth's like, feels like it's full of peanut butter. When your literacy rates are going down.
That's what the cigar, that's why I was like, I don't know about the cigar.
Yeah, no, it is a bit much. It's a bit much. So, reading, writing, comprehension skills, down. Attention span, down. Okay. Workplace productivity, down. Right. Society's consuming way more drugs.
That's a fact.
And the worst ones are the legal ones, the psychiatric drugs, the antidepressants, the SSRIs. These are super dangerous.
Way over medicated.
Okay. Where, you log on to Instagram right now and it's like, do you have ADHD? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do.
Every young boy has ADHD.
They're trying to prescribe you drugs.
Yeah.
In these things.
Yeah.
Right. And Ritalin, Adderall, this stuff's speed. It's methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Right. So you have a society that's drugged, and you have a society that's overstimulated and addicted to their phones. I have to delete Instagram off my phone regularly because it's just, and I think I'm a relatively disciplined guy. I have a really hard time with social media.
It pulls you in, eh?
It pulls me in hard, and it shows you whatever you want to see.
Yeah.
It's like,
the algorithms.
You want to see cars? Oh, you don't want to see cars right now? Okay. You want to see war? Oh, you want to see something? I'm going to tell you. You want to be right? I'm going to tell you you're right today. How about I just tell you that all of your political views are right, that you are justified in exactly how you think.
That's exactly.
You know what I mean? Right? Oh, you don't like that? Okay, how about boobs? You know what I mean? Right?
We'll give you lots of that because it's full of it.
Dude, it's right. So today's generation, tons of opportunity right now. Like if I was a young person, I'd be learning a trade and I'd learn how to sell.
Which we were just talking about that on the way here. That's not as common anymore. A lot of people are not getting in the trades.
Trade's been out-earn any university grad.
Yes.
Like unless you're going to school for law or engineering, and how long are you going to be in school for?
Yeah.
But even a engineer, when they come out of school, they make like 90 grand. You learn how to become an electrician and you know how to sell, right? Where you can contract, you make 150, 200 grand in your first couple of years.
Coin.
You can make money.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's true, man. We're looking at this generation, and I guess I would attribute it to, and tell me if you agree, a lot of it is to social media influencing, and big part of it is the medication.
Yeah.
It's not serving the young people as well as it should, but I think it comes to like maybe the individual responsibility and the awareness of the young people to know this is how I can stay dialed and this is how I can do well.
Yeah. I don't know how deep you want to go, but if you look at how we got here, if that's the question you want to ask, I don't know who's the audience right now.
Young men in particular. I think they'll resonate
This
with it.
This started in the Cold War because you couldn't beat America. You couldn't beat the West with military firepower. You still can't. Even China at this moment in time cannot. So how do you beat the West? You beat the West with subterfuge, with espionage, with intel, and with cultural degradation. So, I mean, you can go online and you can look up ex-KGB agents talking about how they would invite university professors, okay, to the Soviet Union, and they would put on a show. They would show them, they would literally put together like the best academic people they had, and they would say, these are our schools, and they would show them the best of what Russia had to offer at the time. And they would get the university students, actually students as well, but the professors mostly on side with socialistic ideas.
Yeah. Makes
okay.
sense, yeah.
And I believe in safety nets. I'm actually not like hardcore conservative. Like I think that we need to look out for people who can't look out for themselves. I think that is a good thing. I think you do need to have some systems that look after people, but we've gone way off the deep end in a massive way. Right. But they penetrated our schools and our universities 40 years ago, right? And they sold our students ideas that were not good for the society. And we've also sold our students these ideas of pleasure seeking, of, you know, like, and I know this is going to offend some people. It's like, oh, do what you love. Like, do what makes you happy. Follow your passion. Follow your bliss. And it's like, you're a 20-year-old male. What have you fucking done to earn that? Because 150 years ago, 200 years ago, if you didn't work your ass off, you'd starve in the winter.
That's right.
So now all of a sudden what you're entitled to just do what you love, like let's tell all the farmers do what you love. Let's tell all the guys paving the roads do what you love. Let's tell all the guys working in the sewers do what you love. Let's tell all the truck drivers do what you love.
It's a fair
like let's take that datum and force it on everybody. Yeah. What happens to civilization?
Collapse.
Right? So I think that do what you love is, first of all, an overplayed thing. I think it's part of the problem right now. I think that young men, and I'm a little old school, so how I advise men and women are different.
Yeah.
I don't advise women the same way.
Yep.
But I would advise men to become purposeful, to become useful, to contribute. That would be the first thing that I would teach them. And I'd say, listen, like earn the right to do what you love. Like serve society, make a killing, make a great living at it, be really good at it. And master a craft, like become a pro. It's easier to love something when you're really good at it. You don't love anything you're not good at. You think I loved building this business in the beginning? I hated it. It was a grind. I wasn't good at it. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, anytime I start something new, I'm not in love with it.
Anytime you do, there's change or you have to start something new, it's an immense amount of difficulty.
Yeah.
It's extremely difficult. And that's sort of why I wanted to ask you about the young people, because I'm a little bit concerned. I think young men are taking to that message of responsibility pretty well.
Yeah.
I think there's some optimism there. But overall, I'm concerned about it. I want to ask you about a Instagram story you posted the other day, which I thought was awesome. It was about coaching and the inflated market that we see of people. You know, I have the blueprint to coaching, this, that, and the third. I just want to expand on that quickly. Can you take us through kind of what your thoughts are on the overwhelming amount of, you know, coaching content, and I have the blueprint to the entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to come off like one of those guys in these podcasts. That's why I've kind of stayed away from this space. Like,
interesting.
People were asking me, when are you going to start doing coaching or public speaking, or, you know, my answer is like when I've done something.
Okay.
You know, like our business this year. I mean, if we can talk about money, is that a button for your?
No, yeah, 100%. Let's talk about it.
Our business will do like $70 million this year.
That's amazing.
Okay,
man.
and it's a brick and mortar business. It's not, none of that's online. That's not me buying stuff and reselling it. I didn't start it for the purpose of, getting rich, right? I looked at the business schools and I said, you guys aren't teaching young men how to be successful in business, right? Look at a business graduate. He comes out, does he know business? Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh yeah, I've got a master's in business, or I have a bachelor's in business. That doesn't mean anything.
It's true.
Right?
How many people have that?
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, what does it give you? Right? Whereas a welder comes out of, trade school, an electrician, plumber shows up at your house. You never have a question. Does he know how to plumb? Right? Does this electrician know the difference between a relay and a fuse? Does he know how to pull wire? Does he know the difference between 110? Does he know the difference between and 220 or 240? Does he know the difference between AC, DC? Like, he knows that stuff. But a business graduate or a welder, same thing. He knows oxyacetylene welding or TIG welding or MIG. Like, these guys know their craft, right? But a business graduate comes out of school and he doesn't know business. He can't start a company.
Yeah.
Right? And it's still like a guess as to whether or not he'll be successful. It's like chance in their eyes. Okay. Imagine if our aviation schools worked like that.
Oh, fuck.
Would you get in an airplane?
I already feel sketchy getting into an
I already
airplane.
do too.
Who's driving it? That's my first question.
Yeah. What were their credentials?
How did they get the gig?
How did they get the gig?
Was it
a checkbox for
was
diversity?
It a because that happened. That happened quite a bit, and we saw those planes falling out of the sky. I don't like flying that much, Corey.
Yeah, no, dude, I fly every week, and I think about it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of eggs every fucking week.
Every
but
week.
Yeah, you're right, man. The credentials is an important part on just anything.
Yeah. So, to answer your question, I looked at business school, and I was like, hey, that's a problem. And because 9 out of 10 businesses fail in their first 5 years.
Makes sense.
So that's a terrible stat for whoever's educating these entrepreneurs. So I'm like, great. Well, why don't we just build a business that, teaches them the fundamentals of business? And the first fundamentals of business is sales.
Right.
Business is simple, right? You got your profit and loss, revenue line at the top, cost of goods sold, which means, it fluctuates based on how much money you make. Okay. And then you have all of your fixed expenses. And then at the bottom, you have your profit. So if you want to teach somebody business, well, first, why don't you teach them how to get revenue? That's the first line. The first line on a profit and loss statement of how to run a business is revenue. So if you can teach people how to get revenue, and you can teach them how to be really good at it, and they become a master at it, treat it like a sport, treat it like Kobe Bryant treated basketball. But let's break down this sales thing into every component part, master and practice every little piece of it, and then tie it all together, do a bunch of drilling, and then let's throw the guy into an arena. Let's throw him into a space where he can make money. And then while we're doing that, let's concurrently keep adding to his toolbox. You don't learn like the fanciest moves in a sport right away. You learn that after you've got the fundamentals in.
Right.
So let's teach this kid the fundamentals of business, which is sales and then leadership. And then after he learns that, great. Now let's teach him how to teach other people. Let's teach him how to teach. Let's teach him how to train. Good. After he's done that, good. Now let's teach him how to run a budget. Now let's teach him how to run a profit and loss sheet where it's like, great, now I'm going to give you this much money to make money. You don't have infinite spend. And then before you know it, 7-8 years, you can teach a guy how to run a company. That's how
amazing.
I did it.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about was the approach to creating the businesses. You guys obviously hit a gap that wasn't being done well. It's attributed to obviously your success in the game. And then another gap that you guys said and you identified was, of course, the home fortification gap, which is kind of where I want to talk about now with Canada First. I know you probably talked about it millions of times, but just take everybody through the idea to the creative process to the application of Canada First.
Okay, so, and Canada First, that we came up with that name before it became
It's very, I had a guy on the podcast who runs a movement called Canada First where they're kind of against mass immigration.
Yeah.
And he has that name too, but you guys were the first that I've seen of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't have, there's no political affiliation with the company.
Okay.
We do business with everybody.
Right.
But the whole idea was I looked at the home security space. And I built a massive sales organization for TELUS in 2013. Their highest performing team like ever. We did all the fiber out on the West Coast.
Okay.
And then they bought ADT, which was like a home security company. And this is before Canada had this crazy crime problem. And then you've got Vivint in the US. They're a great company. They do home security down there. But there's only a few players in the home security space now, right? It's your big telcos. They're buying it all up. But I looked at the problem of a police officer going on social media and telling people to leave their keys at the door. So that's kind of where the idea for Canada First came from, because I saw this police officer say, leave your keys at the door. And then I see in the comments, like, a bunch of really frustrated people, a bunch of people making comments about shooting people and like, break into my house, I'll shoot you. And, it's like, I wouldn't blame you for shooting somebody, but like, I hope you have the money for the lawyer.
That's right.
Because that's what's wrong with this country.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not saying don't shoot them. I'm just saying,
be ready. You're gonna have to remortgage your house.
Yeah. Have the backup plan for how you're going to handle that situation afterwards. But then I looked at, okay, what industry is solving this problem? And it's kind of like the coaching business. So we were talking about coaching. There's so many guys on the internet that are like trying to make money by coaching others on how to make money. That's like a scheme. These guys are trying to make money. That's the purpose of their business. They started their coaching business with the purpose of making money. These home security businesses, are they really keeping people safe? I have a camera, I have an alarm. better than nothing. You should have a camera and an alarm for sure. It's part of deter and it's part of detect, right? So when you defend your home, it's detect, right? Deter, delay, okay? And then it would be like defense. It would be like actually protect your shit, okay? So alarms are like part of that equation. But in Canada right now, all you do is, you know, you get a camera and an alarm and then it goes off and you get a nice home video of someone stealing your shit.
Right, man.
That's all it is.
Exactly right.
That's all these camera systems do. So, and no disrespect to TELUS or any of these other guys, but like someone breaks into your house and now you have a nice home video of them breaking in. They don't care, especially when the bail laws reward the criminal. Okay, that's what's going on. We have a criminal justice system that rewards and babies the criminal and doesn't understand the injustice that the average Canadian is experiencing.
That's right.
And Canada First, actually, I wanted to make it called Canadians First.
Okay.
Not Canada First, but Canada First sounded
Bit
better,
of a ring to
right?
it. Yeah.
Had a ring to it.
Yeah.
So I looked at the industry, kind of like the sales industry. So the sales industry that I'm in, right, is mostly sales companies who go and promise a bunch of kids that they're going to teach them how to be successful. The guy's got a Lamborghini. Okay, he pretends he's Jordan Belfort or some motivational guy. Yes. He gives a speech about how if you guys go out and work hard and you figure out this sales thing, then one day you can drive a Lamborghini too.
Sell him the dream, eh?
Right? He sells them a dream, puts them through 2 days of training. Okay, you know, pure commission. We don't do that, by the way. All of our guys are on base salaries plus commission plus profit share. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Like we built a real business that takes care of the staff.
Beautiful.
Our
That's
average
amazing.
sales rep income is like 95 grand and our top 25% is like 150K plus.
Okay.
Like it's a real good opportunity. It's a really good opportunity for young people.
Love that.
So shameless plug towards my business.
Yeah, 100%.
But these other companies, they're there to make money and they just make a promise. They promise these kids the future. The home security space is the same thing. Like, look at the commercials for these home security companies. Peace of mind for you and your family.
Yeah.
Go to bed at night knowing you're protected. And it's like, this is whatever. I don't know. This is ADT response. And they show some guy on the phone, like, looking after your family.
Yeah.
Did your alarm go off? Yes, the burglar's inside. Okay, ma'am, don't worry. The police are on the way. Like the cheesy commercial.
Police are on the way. It might take them 30 minutes, but
right?
they're
And
coming.
then the end of the commercial, it's like, you know, ADT, you're safe at night.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a crock of shit. You're not safe. These guys, they know the game. They know that they can get through your sliding glass door in literally 5 seconds. We can show you a video. Sliding glass door, 5 seconds.
Yep.
Okay? That's not an exaggeration. They know, generally speaking, where to find your keys. They're going to come up to your bedroom if they can't find the keys.
That's right.
They're coming for you, straight up.
Yep.
That dude working in a call center, and they all go to the same call center, he's not going to protect you. And the police, and we have a good response time in Burlington. Like 11 minutes, average 11 to 15 minutes. I know that sounds bad, but that's not a bad response time. Okay. These guys are gone in 4 minutes on average, 4 to 5 minutes. They're gone. So I saw that industry. I'm like, it's just like the sales industry. It's a bunch of false promises and no one's solving it. And I was down in Florida and I was like, okay, we're going to come out with a company and we're going to make sure that the doors can't be kicked in. And we're going to have, we're going to bring the window film that they've been putting on banks and U.S. embassies to protect important people.
Okay.
And we're going to bring that to the masses.
Oh, is that what it was, eh?
Right. Yeah. That's where that film originated. The film's been out for a long time, but it was only in commercial and government settings, military settings. And it's really designed, the original design, now the new stuff's even better, was to prevent glass injuries from like bombings.
Okay.
Right? Because the glass becomes the projectile. So they detonate an IED or a bomb outside of a building, and then all the glass just turns into a projectile. Right? So that's what the film was originally designed for. But now we have like hard enamel film. Like that window has hard enamel film on it. So if you throw a rock at it, like it's actually hard. A lot of the times if you throw a rock at one of our sliding doors, it'll bounce off. Now you throw it again and again and again, eventually the glass will break, but it holds the glass together.
And by that time, the criminal's gone. That's what people got to understand. The deterring aspect is very important.
Yeah.
To deter the criminal, they're not able to enter. And even if they spend hours there, whatever, finally trying to find a way to penetrate the glass, they're going to be gone by then.
These guys are opportunists. They have shitty work ethic.
Yeah.
Or else they wouldn't be criminals.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
The other thing is our houses are built like shit. So remember, society on the decline.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So our housing market and the builders, they build to a spec, and the spec's a joke. Like you or me, one kick, proper kick, we can break any door frame. So they, lock their door at night. I can kick that door down in maybe 2-3 kicks.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. Yeah.
And that's how they're getting in.
Yeah.
So when I grew up, funny enough, there's my dad again. My dad deadbolted all of our doors growing up.
Oh, there's a
He
fortification.
drilled the ceramic tile and would
yeah?
put locks into the floor.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've been doing that for a long time. Like all the houses that I moved into, my dad would come over. He'd bring a special hardened bit for the drill, and we would drill the ceramic tile, and we would put a deadbolt that went into the floor. And back in the day, that was called paranoia. But now it's a defense strategy.
Yes. Back in the day, we'd be able to leave the door unlocked, and people would just show up to your house. It'd be normal. It's just, it ain't like that anymore.
You leave your car unlocked half the time.
Yeah. Especially where I grew up a little north in the Vaughan, King City area, and like you could do that all the time.
Yeah.
Not anymore, man.
Yeah. My aunt and uncle live in Woodbridge. They were at, I can't remember this.
Well, they're seeing a lot
Langstaff and not Rutherford. What's below Rutherford?
Major Mac? Major Mac?
No, Major Mac's above it, isn't it?
Oh, I guess it would be more north.
Wherever
Yeah,
Woodbridge.
but that area is getting hit hard too. Like a
course.
lot of the different, everywhere is getting hit, Corey. Everyone's getting hit.
Oakville's getting hit. Burlington. It's all that.
Yeah, it is.
So.
Did you ever anticipate the growth of the company in the way that it has? Like you saw the opportunity, the market was there, there was a gap there, you identified it, you hit it with the same mentality that you did with sales.
Yeah.
Did you ever anticipate for it to grow to the extent that it has?
Because I'm a cocky guy, yeah.
Okay.
Like I've got a lot of belief in my team. Like
that's a part of it.
I'm not the CEO anymore. So I stepped down from CEO in July.
Okay.
So I appointed a CEO. We have a CEO, chief marketing officer, chief operating officer. Like it's a real corporate entity. They're a really good team. I'm a great sales guy. I'm a good promoter. I should probably do more marketing. I should probably do more social media. I know how to train people really, really well. I studied a lot of human behavior, so I understand training people. I studied a lot of the best athletes on the planet and looked at their processes and what they do, and I took sports mentality and brought it to business. I think I'm innovative, but I am not an organizer. I'm a poor manager because I get bored.
Okay.
But, my ability to recruit and find the right people and get them on side has been really good. So I believe that we would scale. I just didn't believe that the problem, like we actually put together a petition. We were working with a member of parliament to bring a petition forward in the House of Commons. Like I've been trying to get the laws changed. Like I've been working with members of parliament to try and get the laws changed. So I don't need the crime problem to make this business successful. At a minimum, everybody should have their sliding glass doors filmed, their side lights beside their front door filmed, and their doors reinforced.
I agree.
Costs a couple grand. That's not a lot of money. I don't need there to be a crime problem to sell that product. So I didn't think that maybe I was naive, but I thought that even the liberals would solve this by now.
They created
Unless it's intentional.
I know, which we'll talk about. We'll talk a little bit about
Kind of looks
that.
intentional at this point.
It's really unfortunate. Over 10 years, man. It's been like this.
I thought we would scale. I didn't think we would scale quite this fast. Like I still wanted to open my gym in this warehouse.
Ain't no room for that right now.
I don't have time or room for it, And I'm investment heavy in this business. I mean, we got 20 trucks. We trained up 20 technicians in a year. We put our technicians through 6 weeks of training before we let them touch a customer's house.
That's extensive.
Right. Everyone's criminal background checked. They carry with them their criminal background check, their government ID, and a company ID.
Yeah.
So you always know who's in your house. Is that coffee?
You got the little
Great.
scrolls.
My hands are. I'm freezing right now. Actually, I hope I'm not shaking for the camera.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it, man.
Oh,
Thank you so much for making this trip.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, eh?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries,
dude,
man. It's a couple casuals. That's kind of how it originated. We were having a couple of beers.
Hopefully, I'm not too casual with the cigar here.
No.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But I got my mom's house fortified. A bunch of my buddies when I started working with the company and stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody's on board, and they're scared too, man. Like they're a little bit worried, right? And
that's how this industry usually markets too. That's another thing that bothered me.
So what do you say to the critics that are saying this is a fear-based marketing tactic?
Yeah, they're right.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not marketing on fear. I'm trying to market an actual solution, but the cameras and the alarm systems that most of these companies were marketing would all do fear. Like, so I've built very, very big door-to-door and direct sales businesses for pretty reputable companies, selling hundreds of millions a year for these companies, okay? I've been approached many times to sell home security since 2013 from the big boys, and I always turned it down. I'm like, it's fear-mongering. But Canada didn't look the way it looked. And I just looked at it like it's alarms and it's a camera. That's how they were selling. But now there's a problem. Like, it's actually a problem. Like, the crime is like, this is not like a 1 in 10,000 chance. If you're living in an upscale neighborhood in Oakville, if you park a Ram TRX, a G-Wagon, if you park any of these new Lexus SUVs, if you park a fully loaded F-150, like a Platinum or a Limited on a driveway, I don't know what they're targeting these days. If you park a Hellcat on a driveway in Oakville, Burlington, King City, or Vaughan, or a Lamborghini or anything, and you wait 2 weeks, it'll be gone. Or someone will attempt to break into your house. That's going to happen. You can't even, you can't even say that that's an exaggeration.
Yeah,
like, that's
you can't avoid it.
That's the situation. So is it fear-mongering? I don't know. You could watch all of our material and, maybe say what's fear-mongering, what's not. But if we show you the crime maps for the last 30 days or the last 60 days in Burlington or Vaughan or Kleinburg or any of these areas, like, it's terrible. And the same criminals are getting out on repeat bail. So we had super criminals last year. We had the same 60 people arrested 2,000 times. The same 60 people. Yeah, exactly. Some of them arrested twice in a day.
They're committing all the crimes, and it's young people too. The Youth Criminal Justice Act, which we'll talk a little bit extensively about that in a bit, but there's a gap there that they've identified, and they're opportunists, like you said. They're going to try to do that.
And it's organized crime. I mean,
it is.
Organized crime is using kids.
Yeah, right? There is that too. But in result to it, a lot of competing companies I've seen, Corey, kind of sprout out in the past couple months. I attribute a lot of that to the influence of Canada First. Like, you see the window smashing videos online now by the competitors trying to replicate that and stuff. Yeah. What is your take on, like, the industry is now kind of growing a little bit, and I feel that Canada First was pioneers with that.
First of all, it's good because we can't get to everybody.
Okay.
Right? What's not good is these guys, they don't know what to sell, most of them. And they sell on price. And it's fine, but like, they're selling, they'll tell the customer, in the beginning they were telling customers, you don't need to do 14 mil. Like, when I entered the space, what I did is I called a couple of these companies and I bought their products.
Okay.
So I had them come to our house.
Yeah.
And install. We have a bunch of leases too for companies, company homes, because we pay for the accommodations of our staff.
Oh, do you?
Because we have like remote locations.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure. So we were able to test other people's products. This is before the industry really blew up. And they came to our house and they said, "Oh, you don't need to use security silicone or caulk the edge of the windows."
Right.
And you only need 8 mil because 8 mil is easier to install than 14 mil. Like, this is the thickness of the film.
It's not as durable though, obviously, right?
Of course it's not, right? And then they started, when we came into the space and we know how to build value, we were selling everybody 14 mil, and then double-sided, and we're doing caulking on every window. And they were accusing us of overselling the customer. I'm like, great, so they're going to spend $3,000 with you. Let's just say it's an average home of $3,000. They got a bunch of extra windows done. And they're going to spend $3,900 with me, okay? So let's say I'm 30% more money. When someone's smashing on your window at night, are you going to miss $900? Like, that's just an ethics thing as a business person. But they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to build value, so they're just selling the cheapest stuff they can. Mm-hmm. And we did some tests with windows without security silicone. The windows fall apart still.
What does it fold in? What happens?
Well, we can show you a video, but basically eventually the glass breaks and then the whole sheet just falls out.
That makes sense.
All as one piece.
Yeah.
Right? And then a lot of these guys, they're not drilling ceramic. They're not deadbolt. They're not anchoring the door to the ground. They're installing little slap locks that's mounted to the same frame, so it's just as weak. So they're giving a false sense of security. Now, not all of them. There's some good competitors out there, but a lot of these guys, they're seeing money.
Yeah, they see the gap in the market and they're trying to capitalize on it. It's like anything, right?
Yeah. So, and that's fine. All right, I can appreciate the entrepreneurship, but they're seeing money, and that's why they're in the space. They think they're going to get rich quick. Like, this is not get rich quick for me. My business up front makes lots of money. I'm funding this business with that business, right? Like, I'm pouring tons of money. Like, 6 weeks of training for a technician, Do you know that's expensive?
That's true.
Because I have to pay for the trainer to train the techs as well. So the competitors in the space, my only viewpoint on that is like, don't give a false sense of security because you don't know how to sell the right product, right? Like they won't drill ceramic or porcelain because if you crack a tile, those guys are losing profit on the next 5 jobs.
That tile.
If I crack a tile, I'm going to lose profit on 2 jobs. But we make our guys drill 50 holes. We have a mock floor over there.
Yeah.
A whole floor, if you go look at it, it's covered in ceramic tile, and it's covered in porcelain tile, and then linoleum and hardwood. We teach our guys to drill on that floor first.
That's the reps.
Yeah.
They're getting the reps.
That's right. We broke it down. Like, what are the most difficult parts of their job? Let's get them to practice here. We make the practice harder than the job. We haven't cracked a tile. We scratched a few floors. I had to spend $7,000.
That's going to happen, though, isn't it, Corey? Like,
7 Gs.
It's part of the gig, isn't it?
We dragged someone's sofa. I don't know what we did. We mess up. We scratched someone's floor. Cost $7,000 to refinish the whole floor. But I'm insured. Canada First is backed up by almost a 9-figure business. So you got insurance and you've got financial backing. You know that my business, we've got 20 trucks. Everyone's crim checked. Everyone carries ID. You know, sometimes they let their haircuts go too much. I come in, I'm like, dude, like, cut your hair, dude. Cut your hair. I want your beard to look like mine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't care about your personal expression, dude. This ain't a multicultural environment. This is my culture of performance. Tight haircuts, clean shirts. If you smell like BO, and Mo knows this, he's filming right now. We have the stick of shame. We sell deodorant sticks in our store up front. If you come and work smelling, give you a deodorant stick. Like, dude, like, it's coming off your pay, dude. Like,
it's your dad influence coming out, eh?
100%, man. So I'm okay with competitors in the space, but like, let's just sell people what's actually going to protect them. Let's not be in the business just to make money.
Let's talk a little bit about the value. You touched on it a little bit there with the extensive training, but let's talk a little bit about the value that Canada First brings to the table. Of course, you have the security film that's very extensive. You have the reinforcement locks. I want to know a little bit about the fog machine. I'm not too versed.
We'll test the fog machine while you're here.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So just talk to everybody about that so they know on just a very basic level what Canada First will do when they come to your house.
So we come to a house. So originally we partnered. Now he's moved on, but him and I are still friends. We had an RCMP officer who basically was a breacher, and he was also undercover for many years. I think he did I don't know how many years undercover he did, but he was in the RCMP for 20 years. So he's like, hey man, I can show you how to break into a house. And he's like, and I know how, when I was undercover, I would break into houses.
Okay.
So I can show you how to break into a house. I can show you all the things to look for. And he's like, we could build an audit that would basically remove all of these vulnerabilities from a house. I'm like, this is a great idea. I'm not going to take credit for that idea. That was his idea. So let's do this. So him and I worked together. He worked with my team, and we formulated a 125-point checklist. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
We boiled it down to 66 points. So there's just some redundancy in it. So we boiled it down to an irreducible minimum 66-point checklist for your house. Probably 50 of them you can do on your own. So we have on our website, it's Canada First /something. We'll put it down here.
Yeah, I'll put it
We give all that information away for free. So there's a whole bunch of information on how to protect your home for free, how to secure your house as best as possible without giving us $1. And then also how to shop the industry. Like the questions, if you're going to use somebody else other than Canada First, here are the main points that you need to ask from them. Okay? Don't let them sell you on something less than this bare minimum. And if you go with us, great. If you want to go with somebody else because you're super budget conscious, that's fine. Just make sure that these points are in. Like, what kind of caulking are they using? Because a lot of these guys, we found one company was using bath tile caulking.
Wow.
Okay? Which you smash with a crowbar right on the edge, because we've had guys on the internet be like, oh, smash it at the edge. Smash the glass at the edge. It's security silicone. It's like structural.
In the comments, eh?
But if you used normal caulking, the whole window film will tear the caulking.
Wow.
So we put together all this information to advise the customer on what to do, and it's in the link below, wherever we were going to put the link.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the fun question now. Sorry.
Yeah, it was I think it was what Canada First provides, the value.
Oh, yeah. So we basically do this. So we come up with this audit.
Yeah.
And all the information you need to actually make your house safe.
Yeah.
So main points of vulnerability.
Yes.
Areas where people can hide around your home. like because they look for places that like windows that are covered by bushes so that they can work on the window with no one seeing them. They look for projectiles that people leave laying around their house. They look for tools, so they'll look for garden tools, bricks, interlocking stone that's been left over from your
They use your own property.
They use your own property against you. A lot of people store ladders on the side of their house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So then they come to your second floor because a lot of second floor windows are left open.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of things like climbable structures. So, the containers that you would put your garbages in.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that container right near a low hung roof? Because they just climb on that. And a lot of these guys, they actually come together. So they'll climb on each other's shoulders. They'll use whatever structures are there.
Crazy, man.
So we put together this whole audit. And I'm like, great. Well, let's do this. If anyone's going to meet with us, let's give them the audit for free. Right? Even though the audit takes it like an hour. Okay. So I'm paying somebody to come to your house. They're going to do an audit. Now, being completely transparent, I'm going to use that audit to try and sell somebody something.
Of course.
Okay. So we're going to come to the house. We're going to do an audit, but at least you get the information. You get the information. So even if you spend an hour with our guy and you don't buy anything from us, at least you have the audit. I'm like, here's all the weak points of my home. Here's all the things that I can do on my own. And now I have that piece of information. And that's how I wanted to do it. I wanted to create a sales cycle. Now our guys, we might get some criticisms that our guys will they'll hang in the sale a while. So you give them an objection and their
skill sets.
My sales guys go to our sales school, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
our
that
sales
makes sense.
school is the one that runs our sales team. Our techs are run by the executives on Canada First, but our sales school are the ones that run the sales
I've seen
guys.
it first time. Michelle did my mom's house, so I saw her in action.
Yeah. Okay. And Michelle's crazy.
Yeah,
She's awesome.
she's good.
She's like the best we have.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. She's
she's
really good. So that would be a criticism of us that maybe our sales guys, they're a little zealous or enthusiastic. They might, be a little bit, I don't know, you could say high pressure, but I mean, at the end of the day, our viewpoint is pressure the customer to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Don't pressure them to make their bill too high. Find out what's the right product for them and make sure that they do it. And if not, at least give them all the information they can do so they're educated.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. We come to your house. We do a full audit of your property, give you this full checklist. You get it no matter what, whether you buy from us or not. And then what we'll do is we come back and we'll send a technician to your home. We reinforce your doors so they can't be kicked down. We reinforce your sliding doors so that with another lock so that you can't just, even if you carve a hole in our window film, you can't just reach in and unlock the door.
Right.
So we do window film on the sliding doors, front and back on all your vulnerable windows. And then we also have cameras and alarms that are connected to the police. So they'll call the police for you with monitoring so you can see your cameras and what's going on. And now we have our fog machine. We connected with a company in Italy.
Awesome.
And that's where our fog machines are actually made.
Cool.
And basically what it does now is someone breaks into your home. Let's say they get through our window film. Pretty low chance they're getting through that window film.
Yeah, maybe
or
after
they're getting
half an
through.
hour.
They're not kicking through your door.
No, they're not
straight
coming
up.
through the door.
The
I
doors.
have the reinforcement lock too. I see it. It's very.
We've kick tested the hell out of that thing, and we haven't been able to break it yet.
Yeah.
We use some big boys to try and break that thing down. I actually had that RCMP officer use a sledgehammer. I'm like, break into this house the way you would if you were the police trying to get into a criminal's house.
Yeah. Not even the cops knocking down the door.
Couldn't get down, So it was pretty solid. But that's what we do. And then if they do get into your house, the whole house will fill with fog.
And then they're done. You're not going to be able to see anything.
You're like, well, what's the point of that? Well, they don't know their way around your house.
You
They
do.
don't know your layout.
Yeah.
They don't know where your car keys are now. Like they know a laundry room. They know that people keep their keys in the laundry room or in the mud room or in their jacket pocket. But when you can't see 6 inches in front of your face, right? And
they're out of there.
and
Corey.
you're tired. Like if we were to work on that, like you'll have to come back. So we're going to film you smashing through a sliding
that'd be
door.
awesome.
It's tiring,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're in shape.
Yeah.
Like these guys, some of them, like if it's windy out, they shouldn't be outside. Little skinny guys.
Yeah, that's
you know what I
true.
mean? So and they're kids, so they're going to get through a window and then they're going to go inside and they're going to have the IQ to figure this out.
No.
Don't think so.
No
So
shot.
it's just layers.
Yeah.
Nothing's perfect. The comments always try and rip us apart. Like, oh, look, he made a hole. It's like, yeah. What would he do without the film?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's so important, man. And that's kind of where I want to kind of segue a bit to get to the root of the problem here. But I think in York region, Peel region, Halton region, there's been an increase in crime everywhere. And I just want to really encourage people just last year to make sure that you really consider fortifying your home because You don't know when you're going to be next. I guarantee for anybody listening to this right now, either has been a part of a home invasion or knows somebody that's been a part of a home invasion.
Yeah.
And the cameras ain't cutting it no more, man. It ain't working because, like you said, it's just a video for you to watch back later. You need the actual tangible help with the fortification of the doors, the windows, and then, of course, if you want to get even more funky, you can look at the fog machines and these stuff, because we need to be able to protect our homes and families. I believe in the self-defense laws need to be revisited in this country, but until then, we have to fortify our homes and protect our homes and families.
Yeah, do the minimum. Honestly, do like I rolled this business out to not cater to the elite. You know, like I know I'm a business guy now. Obviously, I have some money, right? Like, but this business was not designed to cater to the elite, because they're like, are you going to do bollards? Are you going to do a Gorilla Glass or bulletproof glass? And it's like, listen, if you're a 100 millionaire watching this, or a many deca millionaire, and you want the best possible protection for your home, take out all your windows and doors, put in a solid reinforced steel door that has the lock system that goes down into the floor and into a reinforced door frame. Replace your sliding glass doors or your French doors with Gorilla Glass, which is like basically bulletproof. It's better than our product, like straight up. But you're going to spend, 10, 15K for like one door window, right? And you're going to spend over $100,000 just for your main floor. Whereas like we're going to do a main floor. It's going to maybe, if you did your entire main floor in like a 3,000 square foot house, it might cost you 10K. But if you do the weak points, I think our average transaction is like $2,500, $3,000. So we're not in this game to, we're gonna make sure we sell you the minimum we need to feel comfortable selling you the product. Right. But do the minimum. Sliding glass doors, your French doors, you need to anchor them. They need to be locked properly. Your front door needs to be anchored properly, and all your easy access windows need to be filmed. And caulked.
I think more and more people are starting to understand the importance of it. Obviously, look at the growth of the company. They obviously do. But I think we're going to come to a point, Corey, just lastly here on this. Is that when people buy homes, you know, oftentimes they'll be like, how old is the AC unit? How old is the furnace? What's the foundation like? They're going to be asking, what is the home fortification like? I think we're going to come to that point. It's
unfortunate. That's how South Africa is now. South Africa is all fortresses. They got their own issues politically. And it's contributed to the crime. And it's very same thing. It's like soft on crime approach. They're a little bit of a different situation there, but yeah, Canada. And it's funny, the insurance companies don't even recognize this yet. So I'm working on that. I'll probably have that done in the next year. It'd be cool to have it done in the next year, where we can get this recognized by insurance. Otherwise, maybe I start my own insurance company.
Yeah, no, because the insurance company tried to charge me an extra $500 a year because my Jeep Gladiator was considered vulnerable. It's like, man, I didn't do anything. Why you want to charge me more? Like, it's fucking ridiculous. But let's get to the nitty gritty of it. Let's talk about crime and sort of politics. We'll tie it together here. On a very basic level, we sort of touched on it a little bit, but on a very basic level, Corey, why do you think crime has gotten so bad in this country?
I am the owner of a multi-million-dollar organization. I'll be like, it's multifold. Obviously, number one, I would say the first thing that needs to be fixed is the crime policy.
Right.
So it's the crime bills that have passed since 2016, where we've essentially deemed bail as racist.
That's right. Bill C-75.
Yeah. And we allow people to be released from jail, and we took our most experienced frontline defense, the police, and we took their opinion completely out of the matter.
That's right.
So back in the day, police could deem if they thought someone was a serious threat on what their bond would be, right? For bail. Okay. That's over. The police have no say to keep somebody in jail. Someone's a violent offender, a repeat offender. The police don't have a say to keep that person in jail. That's the way it used to be. And this is layman's terms. Ron Chisner could explain this.
He talked about it on the podcast.
He could explain it way better than I can. Honestly, he's a volume of knowledge.
He's a wizard at explaining it. But he's been there, right? Yeah. He's been there doing the work, getting these criminals off the streets, and then all of a sudden...
Well, he also advised us too. So I'll be real. He's been a part of Canada First success as well.
Awesome.
Because he's advised us along the way. So he's really the guy to speak to on that. But there's like a ladder system for offenses. So if I break into your house on Monday and I get caught, it's my first strike, I'm going to be out a couple hours later. Okay. I get caught the next day stealing a car, different crime.
That's right.
First strike. I get caught assaulting old lady, the next day, different crime, first strike.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, what happens when they get to strike three? When they get strike three, they have to sign a promissory note that says they will pay if they don't show up to court. Nothing is put up. No assets are put up. No money is put up. So you just get a revolving door in our jails. And that's one piece. The next piece, and I'll try and keep this a little bit more politically correct but honest, it's that civilizational decline thing. And it looks like it's being done on purpose. It looks like the West is under attack. Yeah. The Western way of life is under attack. And what we've done is we've utilized people's compassion. That's right. As a weapon against them. So we've created a society of people who care, and you have to respect that, and I respect that about a lot of liberals who have unfortunately just been misled by the media, and their compassion and their empathy has been used against them, where we want to open our country to everybody. And there's all of these war torn countries out there and all these refugees. And you're right. There's probably a lot of really good people coming in via that immigration policy. Right. Like, let's say we bring in 100,000 refugees. Let's say 80,000 of them are fucking great. Hardworking. They're looking for a new way of life. They just want a secure place to live. And, let's be honest, let's take some responsibility. Maybe the West had something to do with their country falling apart, because we have a history, involved, of messing with other countries and overthrowing people and causing dissent overseas. Okay. So we got to take some responsibility for that. Right. But at the same time, I can't let everybody into my company. I can't hire everybody because I want to run a nice company. Because
you want to be compassionate.
Because I want to be compassionate and just start giving 6-figure jobs to people.
Yeah. That's
right?
not the way it works.
And when people come into my company, you get a haircut. You change the way you dress. You don't smoke weed. We don't promote a bunch of alcohol here. Like, this is not Wolf of Wall Street and sales company rah bullshit. You're going to come in, you're going to practice, you're going to study. Hopefully you start going to the gym, right? You're going to do a good job. If you lie, misrepresent the product, misrepresent the company, manipulate, participate in any of this, sales manipulation bullshit, right? We're gonna either reprimand you if it's a minor infraction, or we're going to remove you from the company. And that's the business that we're going to run. A country's very similar.
That's right.
My company needs checks and balances. Like, we have an ethics department. We don't call it HR. We hate HR people. HR people are the worst. Okay,
dude, I agree with a lot of what you're saying.
So, but we have an ethics department, which means, dude, this is the integrity that our business is based on. And we literally have 2 people in our ethics department. They're essentially like investigators, and it's a full-time fucking gig. It's a full-time gig, and now we're not trying to fire people. We're trying to correct people because one little lie begets a bigger lie.
Right.
So if a kid starts going out ethics, right, meaning he starts waving from integrity in order to get money. Okay, we'll come in and we'll educate that guy. We'll correct that guy. And maybe there's a minor reprimand. If it continues, then he might get suspended for a week. He'll be given an assignment. We might make him go do community service if he wants his job back. We actually have a full justice system based on we applied it's jurisprudence. We have it in this business.
There's accountability there.
There's accountability. And Mo can tell you this, guys mess this stuff up all the time, but we do offer them a road back. It's not like you're exiled forever.
Okay.
That's how this business works. My Yesa was wiped out during COVID. So I started Yesa in 2017, and I owned Grant Cardone Canada at the time, and we built that into a multi-million-dollar organization, but we sold that in 2023. Yesa was wiped out in COVID, and we didn't reopen it till 2021. So 2021 to now, about $6 million a month business-ish.
That's
okay?
Great, man.
But we do that by running a tight ship, by not being overly empathetic towards the criminal, because the criminal, jeopardizes the opportunity for everybody else.
Yes, that's right.
If I have a sales kid lying and manipulating and misrepresenting a product, right, and he gets us shut down, or he gets me kicked out of a city, or he gets a bad review on a Facebook community chat, that ruins the opportunity for everybody else. So I have to be willing. And by the way, if I don't correct him, what lesson is he learning? I got these kids at 21 years old. I need to correct this kid fast, because if I keep letting him do it, he's making me money. and he's making money. I'm rewarding the behavior.
That's right. Yeah.
So I look at it like, dude, sometimes firing these kids is the best thing for them, right? All right, you know what? You're suspended indefinitely, which means that's the final strike before I actually say you're barred from the company. There's only a couple people who've ever been barred from the company. You're suspended indefinitely, which means 90-day minimum, and you have to do a community service program, and you have to do this you have to read all this material, right? We have put together a whole bunch of kind of like philosophical material. Okay. Try and keep it not religious, right? But, some moral material, materials on morals. We put all that together, and then if the kid goes through all of that, he really wants his job back, we give him a second shot.
Okay.
You need that in today's society. That's what businesses need, by the way. If businesses didn't have an HR department policing you for making hilarious jokes, we have a rule here. As long as you're equally discriminatory against everybody, you can work here.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, our code of conduct says no Karens allowed. Okay? We have another piece of our code of conduct that says it says respect does not mean politically correct.
Right.
So, Mo, my Middle Eastern friend, right? I'll say, hey, bro, you got a really explosive personality. You know what I mean? And he's laughing right now. But then the next minute, I'll see him, and he's making fun of Thomas, our Asian film guy. He's like, careful driving out there, bro. That's the culture.
Very inclusive in your jokes.
Okay, everyone's included.
Everyone's in it.
Everyone's included in the discrimination, okay?
It.
But the other aspect is don't fuck around. If you mess around, Krista, who runs the ethics department, dude, you get called into an office with her, something's up.
Yeah.
But again, part of the ethics corrections is education always. There's always an education portion attached to it. Like, why is the guy lying? Does he just not know how to sell? So let's make him better at his job. Let's teach him some stuff about some morality as best we can. Now, some criminals you can't really fix. Like real criminals are criminals, dude.
Yeah.
Like some of these guys I can't fix. I'm not a social program.
Right.
But society needs to be the same way. And our justice system's broken. This is long ago. This is long before all this recent stuff, right? We're not really rehabilitating people when we put them in jails.
No, you're not at all.
Okay? But at least keeping them in jails protects the Canadian.
Yeah.
It protects the hardworking, tax-paying Canadian. Okay? It protects these guys. So that would be part two of the problem. Part one of the problem is the crime. The criminal justice code and how we're doing it. And then the other piece is letting everybody into the country who don't quite belong here.
With no screening, right? How we've seen
the screening is a huge problem.
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
Man.
So we need intelligent immigration. I'm a business. I love immigration as a business.
Right.
Like, I'm always trying to immigrate people into my company from other companies.
Yeah.
Right. But what am I looking for? Skills. Right. Track record. I'm looking for contribution. I'm not bringing somebody into my company to give them a job. I'm bringing somebody into my company for them to exchange with me. They're going to provide me a great service. I'm going to pay them an abundant amount of money, right? I'm going to provide them training and hopefully opportunity to move up in the company. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to do when I'm immigrating people, recruiting people into my company. A country needs to look at immigration the way a company looks at recruitment. So what we should do is possibly assemble a panel of a bunch of industry experts. Like, if I was prime minister, I would go assemble a panel of industry experts. It would be bipartisan. So heads of construction, heads of hospitality, heads of everything like technology, everything you can think of, infrastructure, every industry possible. And I would assemble like my top, like, let's say 10 or 15 energy experts who are actually running companies and employing people. And I would get them to do surveys from their executives as to what skills are your staff missing. Who are you having a hard time finding? Great. Let's go to the educational boards now and let's start developing and updating curriculums to solve that problem. That's a longer term play.
Yeah.
And in the short term, which countries have outstanding carpenters, electricians, engineers, whatever? Let's issue special visas to those countries and let's bring those people in.
Incentivize them
right?
to come.
And if they don't pay taxes, they start working under the table. And I think taxes are totally messed up in this country, so don't get me wrong here,
course,
okay?
Yeah.
But some taxes, okay, right? But if they start working under the table, they're not paying their taxes. If they have one slip up, crime-wise, they're out. You only have to do that a few times before everyone gets the message.
Didn't the Conservatives just propose that as well?
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, about sending, if you come to this country and you commit a crime, then you have to unfortunately go back to your country.
Yeah.
Instead of, The issue here is there's two parts to the issue, and I just want to echo that mass immigration issue. That's essentially what it is not the issue of immigration itself. It's just who we're bringing in and how fast that is happening. That it's ultimately.
I can't grow. I think I'm good at business. I can't really grow more than, like, we'll put a class. Right now we are in a growth spurt. We'll put 35 people in a classroom per month. So 2 waves of like 15 to 17 people. Okay. I cut 30% of them in their first week.
Okay.
Because we'll interview about 7. We'll do 7 interviews for every 1 hire. They have to go through an IQ test, a personality test, an aptitude test. They pass all of that, put them in the classroom. The classroom's theory, drills, and tests. Like not just written tests, but like literally like speaking tests, everything else. Right. But we're also just looking for like the guy's willingness, his discipline. Is he willing to like get out of his comfort zone? But we cut 30% of the first week. We treat the first week like a job interview. The second week we cut another 15 to 20%.
Oh wow.
The third week we cut another 10%. The fourth week we might cut another person. Okay. So we'll take that 35 down to like high teens, like maybe 20 at the end of it. I haven't been able to grow faster than that. Now there's companies that are way better than me at this. How can a country bring in 1 million people, a population of 40 million? How can a country bring in 1 million people a year?
Yeah.
And you know how governments run things. Like, go to Service Ontario, or if you're in America, go to the DMV. Is it run well? Right? Like anything government run, how does it work? Go to these clinics. They're terrible. Go to an emergency room right now.
Yes.
They're horrendously operated. So how can the government bring people in and get them up to speed that fast if good business people can't do that many people, or that percentage of people?
It's not sustainable. It's not a practical way to do it. And I think that's why there's some utility in these politicians, like what we were talking about before pod. I was talking with Matt, and we were talking about how businessmen are sometimes making the best politicians now, because they're not that robotic, politician, but they're actually looking at it at a practical level of running a business. And to echo your point there, we used to look at immigration that way. It'd be a point system. Yeah. That if you come to this country, that you bring X, Y, and Z, this is the value that you're contributing.
That's how you run. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, right?
That's how it's done. Unfortunately, I don't know, man. The problem, I don't know how deep we want to go on the problem. I think that this is I think it's being done intentionally. And
what would it be? What would you think what would the intention be to destroy a country? For control?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you can't apply rational thinking to insanity. So anytime you hear people try and make the argument, well, why would they do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Correct. It doesn't. You're right.
Yeah.
But you can't apply, deductive reasoning. You can't apply logic. You can't apply logic and try and dissect the thinking of insanity. Criminality is insanity. And criminality exists at all income levels, all the way up to the ultimate elite of this planet. Yeah. And the elite of this planet aren't all evil, but there's probably 20% of them that are pretty bent and they're pretty twisted. And unfortunately, it's that 20% of the elite echelons of society, they've woven themselves into the power structures, into the banking system, into the pharmaceutical system. They're woven into our cabinets, right? Dude, even on the corporate level, it's big tech. It's not all of them though. And there is a battle going on at the top, because you go down these rabbit holes that talk about all this stuff. The unfortunate thing about all those rabbit holes is they all lead to doom and gloom, and they all lead to it's not your fault. If you've ever noticed that, right? So you got the extreme fringes of the political spectrum right now. On the far left, you have, you can't assume someone's gender. You got people telling others that their baby was born trans. Everything is racist. Straight white men are the problem on the planet.
Right.
That's one side of the spectrum.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The other side of the spectrum is on the right side. Yeah, you got your extreme, fucking hyper right-wing people, but you also have this entire group of people that believed the entire world is rigged against you, right? Everyone at the top is on the exact same page, right? It doesn't matter what they're watching online. It's all orchestrated. It's all planned opposition. It's all doom and gloom. They're all working on the same side. And it's usually people who are forwarding these ideas don't understand how the world works. That's just not how it works. The people at the top fight too.
Yeah.
The people even in the elite circles, they're not all on the same page. There's quarreling going on amongst them as well. And I think right now what we're seeing is a power struggle between good and evil.
Yes.
And it's happening on a world stage. And to be real, for the first time ever, I think it's more of a free-for-all than it's ever been. I think we just weren't aware of it 20 years ago. This whole thing's been going on for a long time. And it's going to continue to go on, but I think it's really cool to see that the public is waking up to it. It's just unfortunate about the division. You know, like I got family that are social liberals, and they live in California, but these are intelligent, sane people. You know, like my aunt and uncle, they're very sane. They're pretty logical. The issue is, let's look at their algorithm. Like I would encourage people, if you're having arguments with your family on their political views, just be like, hey, let's do this. I'm sure if I saw all the data that you consume, I'm sure I would see more things from your viewpoint. And I'm sure if you saw all the data that I'm consuming, you would see things more from my viewpoint. So why don't we just trade phones for the next 10 minutes? You watch 5 videos from my algorithm. I'll watch 5 videos from yours.
I hear you.
Right?
Yeah.
And what you'll see, to be frank, is it might take some of your blindness off of why they don't see things your way. Some people are like, well, I'm just going to end up watching CNN. It's like, well, like, just watch the fucking videos of what they're going to show you.
Your Explore page, the way it's set up for you.
Yeah, and like, just see where these people are getting their data from and look at the viewpoint, right? Just look at the viewpoint. You don't need to agree with it, but you can at least look at it and you'd be like, great, that person is plugged into that data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. And they might see. Now, they might criticize your material, but at least you guys can agree on the information.
Do you think like politics is almost like the inevitable poison that we have to consume, like in order to resolve this issue of crime and to move forward? It's like some people just choose to, there's the other side of it. There's that too. And then there's the other side of it where people are just like, I don't want to get engaged with politics and stuff, but there's things happening in front of us, high taxes, mass immigration, the crime, etc. Is politics sort of that inevitable poison we have to consume?
Consume or like confront? You mean like
face
it?
I guess deal with, be a part of, contribute to, indulge in, experience.
Well, think about it. 20 years ago, it wasn't even anything anybody really paid attention to.
That's true. Yeah, you could be in a room with a liberal and a conservative, nobody would even know. Now it's like,
probably because they were on the same side back then.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
Like back in the day, they're like, oh, two wings of the same bird. Nah, bird's kind of splitting apart a bit at the top. Right? I think that we're going through a period, because I just zoom way out. Let's just zoom way out on the times on the time track here, and like look at where you are in a civilizational perspective. How did Rome fall? Okay, great. How's America going? How's the American Empire going? Good. You like look at it from that perspective first. It's gonna be easier. Okay, great. Are people taking responsibility for their nation, or are they caring about their little 60 by 120 foot lot with their pension? Is that all they care about? Like, do they just care about their vacation and their new vehicle every 3 to 5 years and their kids going to a good school? Like, that was the thought process for a lot of people, whether you were conservative or liberal back in the day. You cared about yourself. It wasn't really, I got to look after this thing called a nation. I have to look after this thing called civilization. But now, because of everything that's gone on, and I think COVID exacerbated it, it accelerated it.
Yes.
Okay. Now you have people looking around, but like, wow, someone needs to take responsibility for this thing called civilization. Someone needs to take responsibility for this thing called the future. Because before, all I was thinking about was my family, my retirement, my vacation, my money. But holy crap, now that no one's really been looking at this thing called governance, called politics, called a nation, a municipality, a province, no one's really been taking responsibility for that. We've just been blaming it. Politicians. That was the mentality. But now you're starting to get guys who are like me, who are like looking at this thing, we're like, and you, and obviously a lot of the people you've had on your show are like, wow, I need to get involved. Like, I need to do something about this.
It pulls you in almost, right?
And how we got here was guys like me make a bunch of money, and then we're like, great, I'm going to retire now, and I'm going to play golf, and I'm going to upgrade my wife, and I'm going to buy a fancy car, and that's it. and you have the best minds in business and the best minds, what should be the leaders of society, taking care of themselves, right? So all classes, all economic classes need to take responsibility for this as well. And it starts at the top. It starts with the elite, the not the suppressive elite, the elite performers in society, the guys who are going to make money no matter what, taking responsibility for the situation and being like, dude, like, I need to fucking fix this thing. I need to contribute. I need to get involved. I either need to get involved with politicians. I need to get involved with politics. I need to be involved in awareness campaigns. I need to do something about this rather than just taking care of myself. I think that's how we got here. I think we got here by our executive class in Canada and the United States prioritized their own incomes, their own profits. They outsourced a bunch of stuff overseas. They screwed over their own middle class, okay? They didn't look at the education system because it was good for their kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you talk to wealthy people like, well, the education system worked fine by me. No, your education came from your parents.
Yeah.
Right? We don't even teach kids how to study.
Yeah, now that's a whole, to your point earlier, yeah, that's a whole other issue right now.
Education.
Even in the political
Education
sense,
is the issue.
It's a big issue.
My viewpoint's the center. That's my viewpoint.
Okay,
Yeah.
and fair. Like,
Yeah.
to speak on that, the universities, for example, I think it's 6-1 professors are left-leaning. So there's an obvious indoctrination or influence that's happening there on a fundamental level when it comes to education. The quality has gone down. It's unfortunate, man.
Well, and here's the thing, right? That's the ideological problem.
Right.
Is you've got, 80%, because what I said at the beginning is our universities have been, they were compromised a long time ago.
Yep.
Okay. Canada, the US, the West.
Yeah.
The schools were compromised a long time ago. But that's just the ideological problem. Let's talk about the fundamentals problem, the languaging of these students. So like I said, we have a classroom here because we're staffing the US here as well. Okay.
Awesome.
So we bring people up here for a class. I come in, I give a little talk to all the new hires every time we onboard new people. And I said, YESA is a meritocracy. It's how I start my speech pretty much every time. I'm like, and I look around the room and I learned this now. They don't know what meritocracy is. I'm like, how many of you went to university or college? Most of them put their hand up. I'm like, okay, a meritocracy, who knows what that is? No one puts their hand up. I'm like, okay, how many of you know what a hierarchy is? No one puts their hand up. Like maybe one kid. These kids went to school for business. These kids went to school for economics, commerce. Okay, these kids went to school for engineering. Don't know what the word merit. I'm like, how many of you know what the word merit means? MERIT. No one puts their hand up. I'm like, how many of you know what the word Riz means? Cap. Okay, everyone puts their hand up.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
This is civilizational decline.
Yeah. And that's a good example, right? That's a way to illustrate it.
Okay, so I explain merit means to be of value or worth. Okay? It's the worth of something. If you have merit, it means you have worth, value. There's a quality of something being worthy of something. Okay? And then a hierarchy is a system of ordering, okay, control, and it's a system that allows us to basically say, great, this is the system of governance here. Yeah. It's a hierarchy based on merit. So you will be promoted here not based on tenure. I don't care how long you've been here. You could be here for 5 months and become a manager.
Yeah.
If your stats and if your influence on the company is positive and you've proven to be a stable contributor, I don't care what your tenure is. You won't be promoted based on tenure. You'll be promoted based on merit. Everyone can agree with that. But that is the issue with what we're dealing with right now is, okay, great, 80% of our teachers are ideologically teaching our kids unworkable ideas. Mm-hmm. Let's just not even talk about whether it's right. It's unworkable. They're unworkable ideas, okay, that everybody is equal. Under the law, everyone is equal. But when we're playing basketball, me and Michael Jordan, I ain't equal.
There's no diversity hires in the NBA.
Dude, that's just not how you win.
You're assessed on your skill set.
And if you're not equal in this area of sales or business or as an electrician or a power line technician or a plumber, great. You know what you can do to become equal with that top guy? You can practice, drill, rehearse, study, right? Get better, put in the extra hours. And maybe he's gifted. You're not going to get to his level, but you're certainly going to get better, right? And your value exchange will be based on what do you contribute? That's how you're going to make money. But people have gotten disconnected from that. We're not teaching that in school.
Yes.
So the real problem is, my viewpoint is we have an incompetent public. Like I'm not blaming, remember I said all economic classes need to take responsibility, but we have a public that's incompetent. right? They're not skilled. They don't know how to write. They don't know how to read. They're addicted to everything.
Yes.
It's always stimulation, okay? And they don't understand sales. They don't understand personal leadership. On the aggregate, I'm not saying there's probably 25% of the population is always going to be fine, okay? But we have too large a percentage of the population that's just being left to be raised by a broken system, and their parents aren't going to teach them these values because you're like, well, the parents should be teaching these things. It's like, dude, that parent's working 2 jobs right now, right? And if you wanted to truly create more equity or equality in society, then let's equalize education as best you can. You really can't either, but like if we're going to do redistribution of something, it ain't going to be wealth. We should do redistribution of knowledge and information. And that's been my mentality, is like study the 1%. So we have a program that we're building right now. It's not for the public, so this is not a pitch. We built an online university that I'm testing on my own company.
Okay.
So I'm not going to release it to the public until I've proven it works on the statistics and production and morale of my own people. So it's called the School of the 1%. And we study the best people in every area. And we take the traits and we take the principles and the axioms, the fundamentals that they apply in life, and we build a course out of it.
Okay.
And then we teach that. That's what school should be. School should be talk to all the industry leaders in every industry. Good. Let's help them craft the curriculums. Let's take those curriculums and put them into our schools, and let's pride Canada on being the best place to get educated.
Yes.
And let's treat it like our business versus yours. Let's go, okay, let's play Canada versus the US. But fuck all the ideology. Who cares left or right? I don't care if it's left-leaning. If we had outstanding businessmen coming out of our schools who were competent, who knew how to speak, who knew how to sell, who understood, we had great accountants coming out. We had like literally the best education system. We had outstanding tradesmen. We had the best, electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and we became pros at that. Great. Let's be left-leaning. Like, I don't want to be, but
you're saying
society would function way better. People would be way more productive. Projects would happen faster. You look at all the project delays, right? And then if we educated people in government and we educated them in policy and how things function in leadership, they would look at government and be like, why am I waiting 7 weeks for a permit? I'm trying to start construction here.
Yes.
It's going to take till fucking May. Sorry, my language.
No, of course, yeah.
It's going to take me till May to get started. It's going to cost me, my brother, is my brother here? No? I think it's going to cost us like $160K to do, and that's not a lot of money. Like, construction guys watching this are going to laugh. Like $160K for my blueprints, my engineering documents, all of my permits. Okay, I have to build a change table. I have to build another handicap washroom in this place that's big enough for an adult change table. That means a grown ass man could get his diaper changed on it.
Really?
Yeah. I have to build that. Yeah, that's the type of shit I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right? And all of the other permits that I have to do to build this place out, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The bureaucracy is
I could spend that money on a blue-collar guy who worked his ass off. I could give that money to him.
Yeah,
Instead, it's going to some guy in government, right? You're like, well, it's going to the government. You're contributing. Dude, when I bought this building, sorry, I'm on a rant.
No.
I paid $386,000 in land transfer tax. $386,000 in land transfer tax when I bought this building. I could have renoed friggin' 5,000 square feet with that money. Instead, it went to the gov. Okay. And by the way, I can't depreciate my gains or my investments on this building. So if I was in the US and I built out, so I want to do about a $1 million reno on this building just to basically make another portion look like the front, because the front's beautiful, right?
Yeah,
so we're going to extend the front backwards, all right? I can't take all of that as a tax write-off year one. I can depreciate it over like a decade. So I have to invest money. By the way, I'm going to pay taxes on the money I'm making, the corporate tax. I'm going to pay 26% on every dollar. And then I'm going to invest money in this building, but I'm not able to write that all off year one. So where's my incentive to keep developing in Canada?
That's the problem, right?
That's why I'm developing in the US right now as well.
Makes sense. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, especially over the past several years, have taken their business out of Canada for that exact thing, the taxes and these types of things. It's very unfortunate to see. And honestly, man, I love your answers. Like, you're so intricate and we get into so many details. I could sit here and talk to you for hours, bro.
Yeah, sorry if I'd taken us off track.
No worries at all, man. But I want to kind of ask you one last question here when it comes to Canada, because
we were talking about crime. I took us off, dude.
No, but dude, we covered so much with
Yeah.
that, and I think a lot of value for the people listening, and some real trigger points. The way you've covered education specifically.
Yeah. Education's the ultimate cause
it's a big
point.
one, man.
It's the ultimate cause point, because if you have an educated public, they'll look at the politicians. Like, I could teach guys how to recognize. So, for example, if I use a statement when I'm talking to a customer, I could use something called a flip side statement, which would mean I'll tell the customer what's in it for me to get them to believe what's in it for them. Okay. So if I sell somebody a product, let's say I'm selling them an internet connection, and let's say it's cheaper than what they have now and it's faster. Your next question is, what's the catch? So if I tell you what's in it for me, you're more likely to buy that idea. Okay. So I say, hey, you know what? We just ran all new fiber optic lines. We just upgraded the network. We made a $600 million investment over the last 3 years. Our company wants to recoup their investment. They've done the math. It makes sense for us to give you a 3-year fixed price and essentially give you faster internet at a lower price, because we're going to recoup our investment. Now, all of a sudden, you're ready to do business. You're like, okay, well, I'll take advantage of that, right? If I talk, that's one statement. There's another one. You see politicians do this all the time, but in telecom, we'll say something like, hey, sir, the question isn't whether or not the product's better, right? That's a foregone conclusion, okay? It's categorical. It's night and day. The real question is, are you going to get the customer service you're looking for? Because that's the thing with telecom companies, right? They treat you like shit, right? They treat you like a number. Everyone hates at least one telecom company.
Yes, of course.
Okay, everyone hates at least one.
They got
okay?
stories. But...
So what we do is we insert it. That was a hook question, okay? But the second question of the real question is, are you going to get the customer service you're looking for? I asked you an agreeable question, and I attached it with something I wanted you to buy, which is, the real thing was, I said, the product's better. That's not the question. The question is, are you going to get the customer service you're looking for? The moment you agreed with that second question, you let my first statement in.
There you go.
Because I said, hey, like, if that's not the question, if it's better, what's the real question is the customer service. All of a sudden you're like, yeah, it is about the customer service. You just assume that the product's better. Politicians do this shit all the time on TV.
Yeah.
They'll say, the question isn't whether or not Pierre Poilievre is like Trump. The question is just how much is he like Trump? Okay? That's a hooked question with an agreeable question at the end with an affirmative statement at the beginning. That's programming. My sales guys all will watch the news, and people come in our company. We'll hire you if you're liberal, not if you're confused about yourself. But you can come in. We're not, that you're allowed. If you're a competent person, you're going to come contribute. I don't need you to be a conservative to work here. But it's very quick when we start teaching them this stuff, and then they're watching the news and they're watching the media anchors, because all the media anchors are trained in this stuff. They're like, oh, he just used an agreeable statement on me. Oh, he just used a flip side statement.
They start to
and
identify
they start looking and they start seeing, this guy's running a playbook on me.
Yeah.
Right? So if we educate everybody in this material, this is why they don't teach sales in school. It's why they don't teach real marketing programs in school, because you understand propaganda and you understand campaigns. Right? I mean, we had a campaign back in 2020. We convinced people to stand 6 feet apart, right? And wear face shields outside, right? In the rain.
And some still believe it. Like, some still are on that.
Great marketing campaign.
The
Goddamn,
was
dude.
Unreal, eh?
Great. So if we teach people, always comes back to education. If we actually taught people the way things work and we teach them functional knowledge, the system will equalize, because they'll point out the politician and be like, oh, that guy's a con artist. That guy's manipulating me.
That one was an interesting one, because I just quickly on that is the compliance of that was very interesting to see how quickly.
Bro, it was like a bad dream.
Yeah.
Because I saw my friends, dude. At the beginning, I had friends right beside me. They're like, dude, I'm not doing this. This is ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. And then one day they just showed up like, oh, yeah, I got vaccinated. And I was like.
Did you ask them why? Like, what was the reason?
I just want to travel.
Yeah,
I need my job.
Pisses me off.
And it's like, bro, like, I understand you need the job. I'm like, your economics are important. Absolutely. But it's coercion. It's manipulation.
It was the biggest psyop I think we've ever seen in our lifetime.
Yeah, and it backfired, though.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So this whole doom and gloom thing, I think that's one of the best things that happened A lot of people died. It's disgusting. But it was one of the best things to happen from a psychological standpoint because it woke up. Well, whatever percentage of people are voting conservative now, dude, 20 years ago, conservatives thought we should go to war in Iraq.
Yeah.
They weren't awake.
The Republicans, yeah.
I was reading about the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the Rothschilds, the banking, the banking cartel, the centers of control on the planet between the Vatican, London, England, and Washington, D.C., and how they're all their own independent, self-governing areas, okay? I was talking about this stuff in 2007. It was very lonely.
Yeah.
It was very lonely because there was conservatives, George Bush type conservatives. Let's go to war, like bomb them, right? Basically anybody who looks like Mo, like screw those guys.
Yeah. That was a part of it.
Mo's from Lebanon, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are your conservatives, and your liberals. They were all the same people, right? But now, like 50%, I think it's more like 65%. Once we get some honest elections, 65% of people in North America are like, I can't trust what's in my food. I need to look for myself and not trust the FDA, who's made up of pharmaceutical heads.
Yes.
I need to look into my own education for my kids, right? Like they're not just going to send their kid to some curriculum. They're going to now start looking at what their teachers are teaching their kids.
They're paying attention to what they're bringing home.
They're paying attention, right? Yeah. And they're like, maybe university's not the best investment for my son or my daughter, and maybe they need to go and get some real skills. So we're seeing like a wake up. It's actually very cool. And I don't think the power structures can do anything about it.
I think Canada's a little bit slow to the wake up, but I agree.
Canada's a different story. Canada, you're right. I don't know.
That's the part that
I'm a little...
Because we saw it in the States with the overwhelming mandate with Trump. And this sort of segues me perfectly to kind of how I want to tie a bow on everything here, is speaking about Canada. I oftentimes ask my guests about pride in Canada, so I'm very interested to get your answer on this. Are you proud to be Canadian? Like when you look at Canada and you look at the country on where it is now, but even on like just maybe on the essence of being Canadian, do you still have that pride? Are you proud to be Canadian?
The company's called Canada First. It's a hard question to answer. At this moment in time, am I proud of what my country is doing and how it's behaving? No, I'm not proud of the current state of my country. I'm actually quite upset about it. And I would be lying to you if I said I go places and tell people that I'm proud to be Canadian. Just, and someone can excerpt this now and make a clip. Owner of Canada First isn't proud to be Canadian. And, but at least I'm not bullshitting you. When I introduce myself in the U.S. and people are like, oh, you're Canadian. I'm like, yeah, but, So I really can't say that I am proud of the current state of Canada. I am proud of the Canadians like you, not to be patronizing, but I'm proud of the Canadians like you and the Canadians that I see who are fighting every day. And they're not fighting for some right-wing ideology. They're just fighting for a society of equal contribution, right? And the country that we grew up in, which was America Plus. It was America Plus. It was America without the ghetto. It was America, but safer, right? It was America, but we looked after the less fortunate. But what happens is when you incentivize people to be less fortunate, when you don't give people the tax credits for children or daycare, or you don't make the services available to the people because they're contributors, because they're working hard, oh, you don't qualify for that, you're incentivizing dependence. We got people in this country who purposely don't make more than a certain amount of income because it will disqualify them. And it's like, why? Like that person is the person who we need to back up because he's, a manager. He's, employing maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 people, right? Or he's a business owner. So we've built a system that does not equally help people. It helps the less fortunate only. That's right. And then it's importing more less fortunate.
That's right.
Right? So no, I'm not proud. I love being here. Like, and I don't love the airport.
That's true. That's true.
Nobody does. I just, I don't want this to get cut up into a bunch of terrible clips and, but I love what Canada used to be. And I would love to just see some restoration in that direction. And I'm not, I don't need, I'm not saying immigration needs to stop. It needs to be intelligent, and it needs to be proportionate, and it needs to be based on merit.
It's a total reasonable thing.
It needs to be based on merit, straight up. I'm not extreme. I don't think that we need privatized healthcare or anything like that. I think we need oversight. I think we need industry experts running healthcare, not government officials.
Right.
I think we need audits. I think we need a government audit. I think government spending, other than defense spending, which would be a national defense issue, government spending needs to be public.
How much waste, fraud, and abuse?
That should be bipartisan.
Like the amount of waste, fraud, and abuse that we probably have in the Canadian government is astounding.
Yeah.
It's just completely unfortunate.
Yeah.
But Corey, man, I really appreciate that answer.
Appreciate you, man.
This has been an amazing conversation. I can go for hours with you, bro. You're full of knowledge. You bring a lot of value to the mic, and you bring a lot of value to this great country. And I think a lot of Canadians agree with you with what you're saying, the lack of, it's too bad almost where we are now. But there's optimism there.
Yeah.
Let's get back to there.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'll just say, try not to fall into, like, if I had a word to leave on, it would be, understand that this is nuanced. Don't fall into rhetoric of like overly simplistic ideas of like, we need to deport everybody. And, like the oversimplistic ideas are what contribute to division.
Right.
Intelligence is nuance. It's understanding. You can have, for example, we could have free healthcare, and we could have funded education, and we can have low taxes. If you eliminate waste,
right.
If you eliminate corruption,
yeah.
If you eliminate fraud, right? If we increase government efficiency by bringing experts in, right? Not consultants from KPMG.
Yeah, the overwhelming amount of consultants that these guys,
but I mean, like, because that's just the elite class. That's just the bureaucracy elite class doing their thing, right? But I mean, you can have a nuanced discussion. You can believe in taking care of the less fortunate, but having free market, right? You just need to become efficient as a business. You need as a corporation, which is what a country is, right? So just be willing to have nuanced discussions and be willing to discuss people with opposing views. Share your algorithm, like
that's an
just
interesting
be willing,
experiment for people. Eh?
Yeah, like you're not going to want to watch, I'm sure, a lot of it, but at least you'll understand their viewpoint of where it came from.
Right.
You're going to be able to communicate. We need to communicate. It's a big thing right now. We need to be able to have nuanced discussion. And not fall into these groups of rhetoric where it's just like, I'm right, you're wrong, right?
Yeah, there's no productivity in that.
But there is a side right now that's more moral, and more ethical.
To echo your point earlier about good versus evil, I feel that's happening on a fundamental level, man.
100%, dude. Well, thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man, and I look forward to working with Canada First and continue to grow this relationship. It's been amazing, so a big thank you to you, brother. Thank you.
Definitely, man. We'll do it again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you guys. Until next time, ciao.